Hey friends, Miss Milky Way here. Good to see you again. I hope you've been able to go by the Wimberley Village Library to pick up this week's science kit. This week's topic is ancient Egypt. We're going to do 3 activities together. The first one we'll discuss hieroglyphics as we make an ancient scroll. The second one, you get to be an Egyptologist digging for old treasure. And the third one, we're going to go through the mummification process together as we mummify a little model mummy. So I hope you have fun. Let's go ahead and get started. Ancient Egyptians used picture symbols called hieroglyphs for their written language. These glyphs represented letter sounds and some whole words. It was similar to the way we use emojis in modern times. They would chisel their message into stone or write it on scrolls made of Egyptian papyrus. We're going to make a model of an ancient scroll. Remove your brown paper from your kit, crumple it into a ball, and smooth it out again. Now crumple it again, and again, and again. Repeat this process until your paper gets a super soft texture. This will make it look very old. Now use the included hieroglyphic alphabet to create your own ancient message. I included a secret message for you to decode as well. Archaeology is a scientific area that studies past cultures by looking at remains and artifacts. This can refer to bones, coins, jewelry, pottery, paintings, or scrolls, for example. Archaeologists that specifically study ancient Egypt are called Egyptologists. Many of them travel to Egypt and use scientific technology and tools to uncover ancient cities, statues, and pyramids that have been buried in sand over thousands of years. They must take great care while they dig so they don't destroy artifacts that hold clues about ancient Egyptian culture. In your kit, you will find a bag containing a paintbrush, toothpick, and a dig brick. Pretend you're an Egyptologist discovering an ancient treasure. Gently brush through your brick until you find an artifact. One lucky Egyptologist will find the pharaoh's ring. A pharaoh was a leader that was thought to be both human and god. The pharaoh's ring is shaped like a bejeweled scarab beetle. Egyptologists have been able to learn much about ancient Egyptian culture by studying mummies. Mummies are humans that lived thousands of years ago, whose bodies were respectfully and masterfully preserved after their deaths. We will learn more about this mummification process together. The first thing mummy makers would do is remove the organs from the body and place them in canopic jars with salts and spices to preserve them. The jars were usually carved to look like gods who would guard the organs within. Flip your plaster mummy over to find its organs. Remove them and place them in your canopic jar. You can add a pinch of natron salt and aromatic spices to your canopic jar and replace the lid. Next, the people caring for the mummy would fill and cover the body in natron, a kind of salt that would soak up moisture and preserve the body. Use your leftover natron to spread all over your mummy's body. Let it sit for 40 seconds before you tap off the excess. These 40 seconds will represent the 40 days that real mummies would sit in their natron. After 40 days, they would remove the natron and fill the body with rags, spices, and oils to help embalm and preserve the remains. Now you may sprinkle your remaining aromatic spices on your mummy and use your cotton swab to rub embalming oil all over it. Lastly, the mummy makers would wrap the corpse in strips of linen. They would tuck amulets, gold, and jewels into the wrappings to protect and bring luck to the person on their journey to the afterlife. You can now wrap your mummy with the provided strips of paper towel. You may tuck your amulet that you discovered in your archaeological dig into its wrappings. The finished mummy and its canopic jars would then be blessed by family and priest and placed in a tomb as its final resting place.